What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is what we at here now. So we got Anton Daniel and what I'm saying, on Anton Daniel channel, what I'm saying. Uh, so he's gonna be presenting this situation here. And with the ladies and gentlemen on the panel, they're gonna be talking about definitely, of course, black women and their fetish with liking the street guy.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
And that whole dynamic. Listen, look, man, and this is something that's very serious because, what I'm saying, we've seen it multiple times throughout, everybody's seen it. At certain ages, most of the black sisters, African American sisters, they tend to go for the much more street guys and stuff like that. And I've been on both sides of the field, and I can see how it works. I once was that type of young man when I was younger, stuff like that. I did those types of things, talk to those chicks crazy, and it's just different now because I could. When you be on both sides of the field with that situation, you can tell the difference. But anyway, though. We're going to go here now. We're going to check this out. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
There's some kind of fetish with street dudes because we mistake them as being more masculine. I really wish that women would stop putting street dudes on a pedestal. And I mean, you see how Glorilla's song, she was talking about the type of dude that she wanted, and that's cool because she's selling you an illusion. We actually held ourselves accountable for the type of men that we chose. I don't think we would keep romanticizing men that are in survival mode. I don't care how many black movies that they create where the love is so toxic, and then for some reason, especially in the black community, we romanticize these toxic relationships. And then we romanticize these guys and say that we want this Russell Wilson, Sierra type of love, but we're never going to get there if we keep talking about we want a hood dude. Especially if you're not a hood chick, they see you as naive and gullible. If you don't come from struggle, the way you view the world in relationships are just different.
Hold on here. You know what I'm saying? And now that young lady that they Jesus Christ, they hit me with it. Anyway, what she said was definitely true. And here's the reason why. Let's get this together first. All right. So we're here now. This is the reason why she was correct. The thing of this is when you grow up in the hood and stuff like that, it's totally different from when you grow up outside the hood. It's a whole different dynamic. Like, you have some of these young men that grew up outside the hood and, they get a taste of the hood, things like that, because they move around, stuff like men venture out and do things. So they may run into, situations like that. So they gain some hoodness. Young women that grow up outside the hood, like she say, are technically, prey upon, dudes that grew up in the hood in survival mode. Yes, when you grow up in the hood, you are in survival mode mentally. And you're trying to get out, you are trying to gain some type of monetary value, definitely, because you're in the hood and you're broke and you're poor and things like that, and you're trying to maneuver yourself around. But the hood teaches a certain type of game that suburban life or a middle class life doesn't teach, because you won't need that type of intensity to survive if you're not in that type of lifestyle or that type of climate or that type of area living in. So yeah, women that reach out and go to the hood that are not from the hood, yeah, it's a whole different situation. Just like when women from the hood reach out and try to get a dude that's not from the hood, of course she see him as lame, and she also sees him as prey, as she would use him to, her benefit, stuff like that, because she think that he's soft and stuff like that, or he doesn't have the mental capacity that, it takes to really deal with her and stuff like that. And she's, hip to a certain type of game that he's not hip to, because he hadn't grew up around these type of individuals, and vice versa. She hadn't grew up around this type of man. So, she doesn't really know how to really maneuver and things like that, but she feels like this shit is exciting. And it's really not.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
All right. Let's dive off into it, people. Quarters, nickels, and dimes.
This kind of ties back to what you guys were saying. Women aren't looking for men in college that STEM or nerds or got college degree. You know, they looking for athletes, trappers, drug dealers, bad boys. So the women of today, you know, do they put those type of men on a high pedestal? The athletes, the rappers, you know, the trappers, the famous men and all that.
Yeah, they do.
In what way?
In a lot of ways. Like last guy, like you see it a lot. Nice guys finish last in this era that we got going on.
Are you a nice guy? Or would you be considered a nice guy?
Yeah, don't like that. Nah, like I got a couple homies who may be nice guys.
Wait,
so, you know
what was the answer? Okay, so you're not a nice guy.
In a way,
That's a him. That's a no. No. What makes you not a nice guy?
What is a nice guy?
Clearly not big.
A nice guy is like a nice guy is like hey baby, how you doing? What's up, queen? How you doing, grand rising? You know what I'm saying? Then the bad guy is like
wait, hold on. What do you say? What's up, ma? That's what you want?
I'll be like, what's down, baby? You know what I'm saying? What's good with you?
Wait, first of all, that's Louisiana accent real deep. Hold on.
He's from Louisiana.
Wait a minute.
I'm from Louisiana.
Yeah, he but what makes you not
like, what's down, baby? How you doing? Ain't no good morning. It's like, wake up, big head. What's up? Like something like that. Like
what else makes you not a good guy?
I'm telling you, that shit works though. Listen, look. Now, what he just said is some real live truth. When you talk to a chick sideways, you know what I'm saying, it does something to them. You know what I'm saying? Whether you know the chick for life or you just meeting the chick, when you talk to her sideways and stuff like that, it you know, I don't know, man. It's crazy, but it's the truth though. And they respond to it a lot different than, you know what I'm saying, how you doing, young lady, and, you know, sweetheart, and all the other type of dumbass shit. I'm telling you right now, you talk to their ass sideways, you know, and it works to a certain point. Now, after a woman reaches a certain different age, and of course it's not all, but you know, the majority of women, after they reach a certain age, they do kind of try to, you know, mentally escape that, but they've been so ingrained after so many years of dealing with that specific type of dude for the excitement and things like that, to where at that point they can't acclimate to the dude that they really need in order to survive on this planet.
What the French toast is there to think about?
I'm just being honest.
You old fish-eyed fool.
I gotta check my brain cells. I'll be back there. You know.
Being a nice guy.
There's a lot. I had to figure that out. So I will put it in perspective. When I got to LSU, I was a nice guy, and then after LSU, I learned a lot being in there because I was getting passed up a whole lot, and I realized that I didn't really have no value just because of who I was, and I kind of had to like adapt in a way. And then me adapting and me being around my teammates and stuff, it kind of put me in that mode to where it's like, okay, maybe I need to be like this, and that's how it happened. Yeah.
So you became a bad guy to get women.
Yeah,
now calling it a bad guy and things like that, I call it adopting swag. Now, you know, a bad guy, listen, look, from what this young man here trying to explain, I don't think he necessarily a bad guy or a bad person. What he's trying to explain here is that he adopted certain aspects of what he saw other men doing in the way that they were actually treating and talking and interacting with women and things like that. He adopted that to, you know, get the women that, you know what I'm saying, he wanted to deal with and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, from what he was saying, the way that he was carrying himself, the gentleman way and things like that, it wasn't working. So he adopted a new technique to maneuver around.
I kind of adapted. It just happened. Like it just happened like that. Like I was one of them, what I'm saying, one of them nerds coming out of school. I was good at sports, but I was still like a nerd or whatever. And I wasn't getting no play. So, you know what I'm saying? I kind of adapted and it just, okay, that's what it take to get this woman and this woman. Got you. Okay.
You feel like
Okay.
women made you a bad guy? Like women made you a bad guy?
In a way, yeah, because
Wait, hold
like I
on.
said, I was getting passed up a lot, or I would get like friend zoned and stuff. And I was like, why am I getting doing to that? And then I started paying attention to my teammates and I was like, okay, let me try this. And it was working. So I said, okay, I guess I'm
The
gonna be like
lack of
this.
accountability,
To
bro.
them because they were bad guys?
No, hold on. We not gonna take the lack. He said women made him a bad guy is crazy. That's the lack of account. No, you chose to be an F boy. Women.
No. See, stop.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Stop right there. Hold on.
Bitch, you're a Dorito. You was never chose. You're a Dorito, bitch. And you're mad that you're not chose. And you never will be chose.
Yeah, we're gonna stop that right there. See, what's being explained here now is the accountability that women need to have on their part of the type of men that they've been choosing, especially amongst a certain age group, things like that. And saying, like this young man said, he was in college at that point, so that's early 20s to mid 20s, maybe late 20s, stuff like that. And at that age range, we know that the dynamics are different. Women move different back then when they're younger, stuff like that. Like I told you, man, I've been engaged, I was young and stuff like that. I've been engaged in those types of activities. I know the difference. And so Q sitting around here talking about, women turned you into the bad boy and stuff like that. At the end of the day, though, you could put titles on it all you want to. What is happening here is that the women in that age group of what they're trying to explain are choosing the men that are the most quote unquote exciting or mysterious and things like that, in order to engage with. So he had to adopt that type of movement and strategy and things like that in order to deal with the women, because that's the type of men that they were choosing. They were not choosing what he said. He came there first, he was the nerd, stuff like they were not choosing the nerds. They were not choosing the Grand Rising guy. So and see, this is the accountability part that women need to actually own up to. When they're younger and stuff like that, they make certain moves like this, and this is how it goes down. It's just the truth out here.
Then make you be an F boy.
Well, so look, I'm not saying
that's not no F
I'm
boy.
not saying I'm an F boy. That's not an F boy. It's
What's
a
a bad
difference.
boy?
F boy.
What made you a bad boy? What were you doing?
No, that's his representative. He done created his own representative that he
I'm not
goes out
saying
and
I'm
uses
a F boy. Like
As
I'm not saying I'm an F boy.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Basically, it's a whole difference between what this man is trying to explain, versus a true F boy. They like they're the lifestyle is totally different.
What were you doing that made you a bad boy?
Getting women. Like that's what it was. That was like the college days. That's how it is.
What did you notice that your friends was doing that you started to do that made you get the women?
The way I want to say the way they would talk to them versus the way I was used to talking to them.
Give me an example.
I just gave you an example. Grand Rising Queen, how you doing? What's your name?
Were you lying to them?
You feel me?
You didn't have to
Hey, I'm just saying that's how it was. I had to go from Grand Rising Queen to what's down, baby. Like that's where I'm from. I needed to use my lingo. You feel me? So I had to twitch it up.
So
like
Grand Rising Queen? But were you lying to them?
No, I wasn't lying. Come on, man. What Boosie say? Come on, man. Like,
so were you dealing with multiple women at the same time?
What'd you say?
Were you dealing with multiple women at the same time?
Yeah, in college I was. Yeah.
Okay, so you were all telling them the truth?
Come again?
Were you telling them all the truth?
Not the whole truth and nothing but
So
the
you,
truth, but
so you were lying.
it was.
You were being an F-boy. What are you talking about? So you were being.
It
Lord have mercy. You know what I'm saying? And at them ages, you know what I'm saying? Like, what woman actually gonna deal with the truth?
And that, my friends, is the bottom line.
Let's just keep this honest.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
What at them young ages, he said college. At them young ages, who dealing with the truth? Who dealing with the truth? Man, Q being disingenuous right now. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy out here. You know what I'm saying? And, I'm glad that the questions are being asked and stuff like that, because this is crazy right here. Nah, baby, at the end of the day, y'all know better. You know what I'm saying? When y'all was when these chicks was in their early 20s and stuff like that, they dealt with them types of dudes too. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why they so intrigued. And what's it? Coco. Well, I guess, down here at the bottom, see my mouse. She leaned in and she was so interested in trying to figure this out. And they, come on now, we know better.
like so it's like I would tell maybe a little bit of the truth, but if I told the whole truth, then it'd kind of be like, I guess you could say, I'm gonna put it in short. You just tell them what they want to hear. Yeah, baby, it
So
go
you
like
were
this.
lying.
Yeah, that's how that go. Yeah, that's how
You
it
were being
was.
an F-boy. Okay.
Hell, that was back then. I might be chill now. I'm chilling, but that was just college days.
So in the
That's what
college
happened.
days, so that goes back to women putting street dudes, bad boys, F-boys on a pedestal.
What
You
kind
got
of
more,
woman
Yeah,
was he?
Right.
more play.
I mean, my thing is like women, like you just have to have a better discernment and identify them. Like do some background checks. You know what I'm saying? Like ask about them. That's how that's how women should go around identifying their man. You can't be just blaming like, oh, this nigga went that is like. I know people be like, you should know who you get with before you get with them, but a lot of women don't. They kind of like they see the red flags and they kind of still go with it. So
And that's just the truth. See, this thing here, you know what I'm saying? If fathers and men were actually, also celebrated to, be in their sons and their daughters' lives, the men will be able to teach them certain things and warning signs and stuff like that. And definitely for their daughters to understand, that to how to peep out certain men and their hidden agendas. Let's just keep this 100. So, and this is where we at right here. But we're in a society that everything's broken up, and women are out here fending for themselves, trying to figure out what type of men to deal with, because the majority of situations have been, dealt with the majority of men around and stuff like that. And most women are, independent minded. So they will not, go to the men in their family for advice about a man and stuff like that. And they're trying to figure it out on their own. That's the reason why they're running into, F boys and whatever, else you want to call it, the toxic men or however you want to put it, things like that. But this is where we at here.
it's like it's up to you to identify, if you have a bad person or not.
But if you're lying to them, isn't it kind of hard for a woman to know that you're lying to them?
No.
If you get scammed, is that your fault or is that their fault?
Depends on the scam.
I'm just saying, if you get scammed, is that your fault or is that their fault that they scammed you?
Yeah.
To believe they lie?
How are we supposed to know? Because what was your question, Q? You said, wouldn't we not know if they're lying to us?
Yeah, sometimes really seeing the truth is hard. These men be lying. Women and men be lying.
That's
really.
why you do
saw
background
Coco and
checks. You
Tamara
get more info on this
shake
person.
their
You do
heads.
background checks. You have to
No,
identify. That's why I say you need more discernment when you're identifying these people.
Right. The reason why I'm shaking my head is because women don't want to see the truth that is slapping them in their face. And they want to say that, oh, no, it's hard for me to see it. No, it's not. You have that intuition inside of you. You know when something don't sound right, but because you like what's going on, you like the guy or whatever, like Anton always says, there's no standards. So you want to somehow find your way to get upset whenever you find out, oh, there's all these lies or whatever, but it's literally because you weren't listening to yourself. You weren't following the direction that was given to you. And men know this and they take advantage of it. Women, we play too much.
That's what I'm saying. Like women
Damn.
are the biggest investigators in the world. Like y'all should be able to identify. Y'all are the biggest investigators in the world. Y'all should be able to identify a bad man from a good man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, y'all say.
Well, I'll talk specifically about players, because players are different. For women, this is the game that women should know and often ignore. If you like a man that several women like, that he smooth talks to you, he says sugar in your ear, he makes you melt, he doesn't tell you about yourself, he makes you feel good in the inside. That man is lying to you.
Sound like an ice cream.
If a man never tells you about yourself and just tells you all the good things, all the things you want to hear, that man is lying to you.
Coco, is that why?
I know that's right.
So is that why?
Look, hey.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Coco got real at that second, but this is the thing right here. And you know what I'm saying? This is the point. We can't sit here and allow these women to not take accountability. Listen, like the dude said, you know what I'm saying? Like the young man said, women are, like detectives on the job. How can she not know that this dude is a treacherous guy, or he a street guy, or what he's into in the streets or whatever, or things like that? Yeah, these chicks be knowing. And I'm tired of us trying to sit around here and, with this illusion, like women don't know any better. But then on the back end, you'll hear women say, well, we're the most intelligent, or we're the most smartest, or women mature faster than young men do. Young women mature faster than young men and all. So if y'all mature so much more faster than us, and things like that, you would think that they would be so hip to the game and stuff like that, way beyond that men are. But at the same time, though, too, how are all these women so-called being victims and being bamboozled by all these men?
And what the French toast is there to think about?
I'm confused. Either you're way more highly intelligent than men. Either you're way more highly intelligent than men and can seep through the games and the treachery and the muck and all this type of stuff, or either you're just trying to bamboozle men into thinking that you're highly intelligent. I'm just trying to figure it out.
So back to the topic, ladies. Is that why women put those type of men on a pedestal?
Yes.
Because they tell them.
They ignore the red flags.
I was just going to say, like, that discernment comes with like maturity, right? Like when you are young and you're naive and you're looking for a good time, the most exciting, most adrenaline rush experience is what you're going to go after. If you lack maturity, we talked about being intentional earlier. If you're just looking for a good time, you're going to do that. But after you get to a certain age, you need to like lock in on what this person's character is instead of like the thrill they can give you temporarily. So I do agree, but I think we should give us all grace, because when we're younger, we make, a little bit more of naive decisions, and that discernment just happens when we mature.
Well, I want to disagree.
Okay.
I'm gonna disagree with the discernment being only whenever you're more mature. We have discernment at a very young age. We know when to cross the street, when not to cross the street. Even as a kid, we know when to come back inside, when mama's gonna whoop our tail because we didn't do such and such and such, and she don't even have to tell us. We have discernment.
A lifetime of benefit.
Hold on. She was cooking. Jesus Christ. They hit me with commercial. But the discernment works in all of us as young people and stuff like that. You growing up, you know better. You know not to, touch a hot stove. You know not to, you know, do certain things, even as a child. Hold on, let's keep going.
We just want to play dumb. And those moments where it feels so good and we just don't want it to stop. That's our problem. That's where we get mixed up at. But women can't use that excuse of saying, "Oh no, I was young and dumb." It's like, no, you knew what you were doing and you just chose that was your choice. There's women out here that don't choose those same things, so it can't be maturity because we're the same ages and women are still making different decisions.
Hold up.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Listen, look, and this is where we at right here. Yeah, at that point right there, she said a lot right there in that those few little words. You know, at that age group, stuff like that, from what the topic here is at hand. Yeah, there are some young ladies that don't choose that, just like there's some young men that don't choose to, you know, engage in the, you know, the game and the mouthpiece and stuff like that. Yes, if there are people that don't choose at those young ages not to engage in that, and this is the truth. So for, you know, and listen, look, my issue here is a huge problem that we have in our society. We want to condemn, well, let me put it this way. Young people, early 20s, late teens, stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? They're able to sign up for the military. They're able to, you know, buy homes, get credit, vote, be productive citizens in society, stuff like that. But we expect these, you know, but at the same time, though, too, they're sitting around here thinking that, you know, being sexually responsible or relationship responsible or fiscally responsible for their future and stuff like that, we're just supposed to not expect them to, you know, be mentally sound to do said things. Now, I don't know, days of old, you know, by the time people were 20, you know, early 20s to mid 20s, stuff like that, these people were being married, engaging, you know, by you know, getting homes, building families, stuff like that, you know, decades ago. I don't understand where we at now, and we were sitting around here and think that these, you know, early 20s and all the type of stuff, we've delayed the growth of our people in this culture, definitely over here in America. We've delayed their growth, and this is the reason why we're having these huge problems nowadays where these young people are lazy to a certain degree, you know, not all, but you know, it's an overwhelming factor that don't understand a lot of things. Young men are out here lost, young women are out here lost, and it's a huge problem, and this is where we at. But yeah, though, she made perfect sense on that situation, to where we cannot ignore. And this is the reason why, you know, after a certain time, these women want to sit around here and then try to backtrack and get with, you know, the guy that they needed in the first place. But by that point, they've been through so much issues and stuff like that. And we know how women's anatomy works and their emotions, stuff like that. They just cannot acclimate to a dude that's trying to provide a peaceful life. You know, everybody screams it. We all know the truth. Jay-Z said it best. Once a good girl gone bad, she's gone forever.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
She's gone forever. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.